Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host HC, and with me is.
Wolf.
And I don't know if you noticed, but we're back after a while of being away. Let's just say that things happen sometimes, which force you
Listen,
to step away from your hobbies. But
God
hey, we're
himself
back.
said, "You're not watching this show anymore." Or this
well,
show cursed me because lightning struck my house and killed my router and modem and a few other things. Well, I didn't strike the house directly, but
well,
because that would be
the
really
good
bad.
thing, the good thing and important thing is that you're okay,
Yeah,
and
it's all back. It's all fixed. We're back. We're good to go. Let's talk Poker Face Season 2.
yes. So, in
I can
case you haven't seen
segue.
in case you haven't seen the season one podcast that we did, I really liked season one. It was also one of my favorite things on when we did the Outcasties for 2023. I really loved that show. Wolf, you were less enthusiastic than I was, but you still liked it, if I recall.
There was things I liked about it. I thought it's not a bad show. I remember saying I would like to have seen them step outside the formula for season 2, like do something a little bit different. But obviously, it is an episodic show, and those never rank very well with me. I will be upfront. So, like, I came into this show being a little bit biased against it just because, like, episodic shows, not a big fan. But I will say,
So
season 1, like, it did some stuff that I liked. So, it wasn't horrid.
now season two has finished a few weeks ago
We're a little
ish.
behind.
Yeah, and I'll say, as the bigger fan of the two of us, I am still not entirely sure what to think about season two. Like, it's not bad. Let's start there. There are a lot of episodes that I did like. There's a lot about the show that's still great. Charlie is still an amazing character. But when it was all said and done, there were episodes where I just didn't feel it, and we'll get more into this in the spoiler sections. But I will say that I walked out of season two feeling a bit of a disappointment.
Fair.
So, what about you?
I'm gonna make you.
Oh
I'm
boy.
gonna. I, this show is already like on that thin line with me. Like season 1, like there's a lot here. There's some stuff here I like. Hopefully, you can do better in season 2. Season 2 did not do better, in my opinion. It's just more of the same, which wasn't what I wanted and is not good. And I did not like season 2. Season 2 also killed my, had lightning strike my house. So I'm all also I hate it for that reason too.
So, bias aside, just because it's the kind of show that you don't necessarily get into, but also the type of show that killed your router, I suppose. Let's, but
I
because you said
There are
it
things
did
about it.
something.
There are things about season 2 that I like. I'll say episode 9 to 12. I really liked that. But I'm also
Oh,
gonna
this is gonna
say,
be interesting when we're gonna get there. Oh boy.
there are things about it I liked. But I'm also gonna say that's episode 9 to 12 is kind of the antithesis of what this show is, and that's the problem. So it's like the rest of the show I just did not like. Also, holy fuck, when we get into spoilers here in just a minute, like episode 2 and 3,
Let's not get into spoilers
that's all I'm gonna
just
say is
yet. But before we go into spoilers, there is something you said, so I'm kind of curious. You said it did something that you are not a fan of, ergo you didn't like it. But would you say that over that, like, if you're trying to go into this without the bias, if you're trying to go into this as a show, would you still say you're not recommending it, or is it just like it be like? Would you say it's a you problem or a show problem? I'm kind of
It's a
curious
me.
about
I would say it's a me problem more than anything. Again, I'm not a big fan of episodic stuff, so that's 100% a me problem. But taking that aside, I think it would still be a me problem in that I just don't like this show. It just has not connected with me after 2 seasons. Charlie as a character is fine, but that's about the best I can say. I don't hate watching her, but there's no connection there. There's no like, yeah. There's nothing I'm interested in or invested in
it.
here.
Well then, so this is the point where we give you a spoiler warning on in case you're watching this and you haven't seen Poker Face season 2 and you're intending to do it, this is the point where you close the video. So spoilers in three, two, one. Still here? Okay, so how are we even going to start talking about this?
Oh Lord.
Um
Well,
Okay, you know something. Can I just say, because as the bigger fan from the two of us, I will say the one thing that kind of killed it for me is that we start season two where season one left off, where we have Hasp on Charlie's tail, right? She wants Charlie to be a part of her crime syndicate, and she's chasing after her. Obviously, along the way, Charlie, of course, has the mystery of the week episode, to solve here and there, and then by and literally the end of episode two, Hasp catches up to her. And then episode three, I actually really enjoyed because it's a quote unquote plot episode, right?
mm,
We get to see that. We get to see what does Hasp want with Charlie? How does this going to go? And there are actually some twists and turns there that I didn't necessarily see. I didn't really know how they were going to resolve that, but then they just resolve everything. Episode three, the main conflict, done. We have nothing after this. Then we just keep doing like a episodic, episodic nature. And yeah, I realized that the show was episodic before, but now there was no point to it because in the first season she's running away. She needs to go to all these locations to keep to be under the radar. There's some sort of a justification to why she is jumping from place to place. Here she's just doing it for the thrill, I guess, for the hell of it.
so the
And
idea
then
is, I get what they're going for. The idea is after that point, she's trying to like find herself, I guess, a little bit, like who she wants to be and what she wants to do. And like the through line at that point is like her CB radio friend, the trucker she talks to every now and again at the beginning, like when
yeah,
her
what
part of the
a
episode
waste of
comes
Steve,
in.
what a waste of Steve Buscemi as well. Like you have
Mm.
Steve Buscemi on your show. This is all he does.
Listen, I'm gonna say it. They waste a lot of people in this show. They got
I,
They got Esposito in this show. They got Giancarlo Esposito in this show, and like even he couldn't save the episode he was in. It was just boring as fuck. And that
I,
was episode 2.
oh yeah, I don't know the actor like you do, but yeah, I didn't like episode two all that much either.
They
But
got John
again,
Mulaney and Richard Kind in this show, and it's like,
no,
what
really,
the
John
fuck?
Mulaney. John Mulaney, I actually did like him.
He was
It was
fine, but it's
nice.
like he's so much funnier than that, I feel, and he just wasn't funny in this at all.
I think the funniest shit for me, because this is a show I watch with my mother. My mother and I are the fans of the show. We watched it every week.
Mhm.
And as soon as Aquafina fucking showed up, I'm like, no. And she's like, why? What happened? And I'm like, you don't know good. You don't need to. And then she ends up being the character that gets killed, right?
Mhm.
So I actually text a friend of mine and tell her, okay, never mind, Aquafina is dead. This is the best episode of the show, 10 out of 10.
Fair enough.
I'm sure she's a lovely person in real life. I'm
I
just
mean,
sick of her.
they
But
had Method Man, and there's so many like big names in this show that are like older names. It's just Haley Joel Osment is in this show.
yeah, that cracked me the fuck up when he showed up. I'm like, really? Like, and you know something? This is another Universal show. You know what other Universal show he did, right?
I forget which one.
Nine Realms.
Yeah, Nine Realms. That is right. Also a bad show. Also both on Peacock. Peacock, you're
Okay,
0
no,
for
no,
2 right now.
no, wait, no, no. Poker Face is not even in the same league as awful as Nine Realms.
For you, it's
Take
not.
that.
I
No,
said
no,
it.
no, no, no. You
For me,
you
it's
also
just
said it's a you. No, no. We are canceling everything. The lightning struck him. Cancel.
I'll say it. I enjoyed Nine
Okay.
Realms more than this show.
Wow. Yeah, listen, it's time for the nuke. Okay, but this aside, yeah, when he showed up, this was like the most fun. I know that he has a lot of roles lately. He's sort of been making a comeback in recently years. Ironically, when Kingdom Hearts is nowhere to be seen anymore, but it's like it was so odd seeing him in there. And again, they put him there. He has like what 5 minutes of screen time, and then he's killed off.
Pretty much.
And but again, this is also starting to just come. And we'll talk about this later. But the finale, the big twist that they went for, I just started feeling like we're not in the same show anymore.
See,
Forget genre. We are not in the same show.
that's kind of why I liked it though, because it wasn't the same show anymore.
Well, tip two for Wolf to like your show 101. Make your show unlike your
I
show. This is
mean,
why you like the Nine Realms.
here's the thing, right? Again, it went from being an episodic show to basically after at episode 9. From that point forward, it kind of stops being episode. It's still a little episodic, but it stops being as much episodic as it was. It still uses the same formula. Nothing has really changed, other than you have more like Charlie staying in the same place. You have more. You have recurring characters like 2 or 3. Some of them small, but you have one big one, right? And that kind of leads you through to episode 12, where you get the big twist at the end, where hey, we're in spoilers, where the character you've been dealing with is evil. uh
Mhm.
what's her name? Patty Harrison plays her. I forget the character's name.
But that's kind of the thing. For this kind of a reveal to walk, I think they should have introduced her earlier. If this was the plan.
Fair. I would agree, because you need more from that, but we're doing episodic shows, so we can't do that.
Well,
I mean, you
who
can do that,
said
but this
they?
show's not going to do that.
Yeah, that's something that I will say. This is a problem that I have with how the season is structured overall because there were so many opportunities where they could have just done that earlier, like introduced her way earlier, maybe even in episode 1 or 2, and maybe not have her throughout the entire season, but at least keep her in my mind because I'll be honest with you. A good mystery should be one that you're not necessarily supposed to figure it out, but you need to look back and think that it makes sense. I can't
But
figure
this
out
show's
that
not a
she,
good
that
mystery.
it's,
There's no good mysteries in this show. They tell you all the answers in the first. Again, this was one of my biggest problems with this show in season 1. They tell you all of
and
the
here's
answers
the
in the first
thing.
10 to 20 minutes, and it's infuriating.
And here's the thing that this is the first the identity of this chameleon, is that what it's called,
Iguana.
chameleon?
Iguana
Iguana,
is what they
yes.
say, yeah.
Mhm. So the idea
Because we
of
got to
this
be
iguana is
quirky and
that
different.
this is the one mystery that you're not given right away. This is the one mystery that actually lingers and you need to figure out,
I
right?
will say, I will say, I will say, my first thought when after we saw her again in episode 10, I was like, huh, this is different. I wonder if she's evil. Maybe she's not, but I wonder if she is, was my first thought. And then we get to
I,
episode 12, and I was like, I fucking knew it.
mhm.
I called that
Honestly,
shit by accident. I didn't
there
know
was
it, but
there was something a bit suspicious about that. There was something a bit
again,
suspicious that suddenly we have
that's
this character. But here's the thing: when they introduced the idea of the iguana and everything, I thought it was Steve Buscemi, the guy that she's talking to on the phone.
a good call. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, because like you don't just get Steve Buscemi to do a voice. Like it was right there, and he has a lot more, quote unquote screen time because he's actually a recurring thing. The writers keep him in your head. This chick. No, and then in the same breath they give you this backstory that she's this frustrated, bored assassin who sees Charlie as a challenge. Which, to be fair, this is actually one thing I do kind of like about this season, that there are times when Charlie being able to tell the truth, to tell when people want the truth or not, and or like she can tell when people are lying to her or not. Sometimes that's gonna put into question this season because people will give her half truths. They are technically not lying, but it's not necessarily the truth in full, and that was actually interesting. But they don't really do anything with that until this point where this woman apparently trained herself for this specific moment where Charlie can't tell that she is lying. Okay, again, are we even in the same show?
Until she can tell when she's lying because they're actually trying now.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Because now they're actually, now she's actually trying to see if she's lying or not. It's. I want to
By the
go.
way,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
no. I was just gonna say I want to go back for a minute.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I was a little pissed after episode 3 because I sat there going like, okay, what the fuck? Why are we watching 9 more episodes? The story
Yeah,
is done. I was
yeah, and
You could
that's
have
the other
finished
thing.
this in season 1 and you chose not to. Fuck you. Fuck
That's
you so
and
much.
there is this thing. I'm not sure if you had it in the way you watched it, but here after season three, sorry, after episode 3 ended, there was this promo of this season on Poker Face. Like they had to kind of lure you into watching more. Like they had to put this little promo there to show you,
They did.
hey, we
I got the same
promise
thing.
you, there's more after this. This is not the end. Keep watching, please.
I was so upset because it's like, why am I watching 9 more episodes of this show and you have finished the story? There's no reason for any of the rest of this to exist now. It's just like, I get it, it's an episodic show, but we need the through line, right? I will always stand by, I will die on this hill. One, episodic shows are always bad consistently. Never seen a good episodic show that I have enjoyed, not once yet. That's just my opinion. I'm aware. If you think this show is great, if you've seen other episodic shows that are great, more power to you. The only good episodic shows I have seen are ones that are comedy focused or ones that don't have any stakes. When you have stakes like this show is trying to have, right? When you have things that like, oh, shit matters, shit is important, then you need through lines. And one, episodic shows just can't do that. Episodic shows can't really have through lines because the characters always have to reset. So there's nothing for you to connect to. That's why some episodic shows don't have the characters reset, where they continue to learn and you just go through different parts of their life episodically, right? Or however, whatever the show's doing, basically. And that works. I'll give this show credit. Charlie doesn't really feel like she resets hardly ever, if ever, because they avoid going through having Charlie make some of the same decisions or same mistakes. For the most part, I would say there's a few instances here or there where Charlie makes the exact same mistakes over and over again, but that's a
But then
rarity.
again, but then again, Charlie is also one of those characters that doesn't necessarily need to grow. She's a term that I apparently popularized around friends, from what they tell me. She's the audience surrogate. You are seeing these events through her eyes,
Mhm.
so she's not necessarily a character that changes. And I'd argue she doesn't need to. The idea is the hook of the show is all the crazy shit that she's getting into, not necessarily that she's going to change or learn from anything.
Which is fair.
She's just
And I agree with you with, right? Again, and I think that's one of this show's strengths. They realize and understand how, where, and why episodic shows can and do fail, right? Where they will fall flat. And they do their best to avoid that. It still wasn't enough to get me as fully invested personally, but I can understand why you are and why other people are and why they enjoyed this show, right?
Mhm. And again, I completely get that at this point this is like a this can also come down to personal taste,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
which is very fair, which is again why I kind of like doing these things where we have different opinions, because there's an interesting thing to talk about. Now, in season one, I was obviously the positive one. You were a bit more critical. Now we're looking at this and it's like we're both critical because I also feel they dropped the ball in terms of how this is structured. Then might as well talk about this a bit more in
Yeah.
detail. Episode one, I to be honest, I liked it, but it also felt very gimmicky as compared to
It
the others
I
because the
hate
hook.
using this term, but it really did feel like kind of filler. It felt like
Well,
we need to get you
I
hooked into season 2, but we don't want to basically do it basically felt like episode 2 and episode 3 should have been episode 1 and episode 2, right? Or episode 2 and 3 should have just been season 1's episode 11 and 12 basically. But either they just ran through their budget too quickly or they only got allotted 10 episodes and they didn't want to do any more because maybe this show won't be popular, maybe we won't make our money back on it, let's hold off. Oh, we're making our money back on it, well then let's do the last 2 episodes that we had would have done in season 1 for season 2, and we'll just give you like, I don't want to say it's filler, it's not filler, but for to get an idea across, right? Let's just give you episode 1 as a filler episode so you don't immediately watch season 2 and be like, "Oh, there's 10 episodes left of season 2. We just finished the story from season 1. Why do I want to
it's
watch
not.
the rest of this now?" Because you have that problem at episode 3, but now you're invested. You've made it 3 episodes in, so you'll probably watch the rest of it. That's
Here's
why
the
they give you
thing.
episode 1, and it does and is nothing. It's
To me, with
loosely
episode
connected.
one, I don't really mind episode one in the concept that that it's not necessarily that it's not necessarily a plot heavy because you need kind of an episode to get you back into the spirit of things, right? You need an episode to get yourself familiar with the status quo again, or lack thereof, if you will. So I don't mind that.
I
What I
don't
do.
hate episode 1. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed the, like, you know, episode 1 to me, I don't know about you, but episode 1 to me felt extremely hammy and kind of dumb in that, like,
But
the
I
person who
think they
does the
kind of knew
murder,
it.
person who does the murder is like, they'll never identify the body. I can just take over her life. We literally, like, I sometimes forget that this show is set in modern day basically because they don't act like it at times. But it
Fair
is,
enough.
and, like, yeah, we identified her body via fingerprints, like, yeah, that makes sense, actually. I forgot this show's set in modern day, they can do that. So this was just a dumbass murder. But it makes sense
But
that
I
this
think,
person is stupid because she's basically, been sheltered most of her life, essentially.
yeah, and also I think they kind of know that it's stupid because when you have the same actress playing all the sisters,
Mhm.
you kind of know that they want you to look at this and be like, huh, the fact that they're all the same person is kind of it, to me kind of shows that they are they are in on the joke. They know it's dumb.
Which is fair. Again, nothing wrong with it. It's a fun episode. I think it's a great episode 1. It's just, it's where it's placed at that makes it feel kind of I think, because again, you have basically season 1 ending in the next 2 episodes, or like the
Yeah, and
storyline ending in the next 2 episodes.
yeah, the only thing that really connects it to the season one finale is that basically Charlie's on the run from Hasp's people,
Yeah.
and that's really it.
Yeah, the only, yeah, it's, and that you get to see that at the very end. Basically, they find her and start shooting, and
We
then she
see a bit
runs.
of a we see a bit of a
Well,
montage at the
yeah,
start, but yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
like, but I will give credit, Cynthia Erivo. I'm really sorry if I mispronounced her name. People just we just saw her less than a year ago in Wicked, in the Wicked movie as Alphaba, and now we see her here playing 5 different characters. The girl's got range. I have to give her that.
yeah,
She's a rising star recently.
yeah.
Interesting to see.
I think she'll go far. I think she's a great actress. I would love to see her in other stuff, in better stuff. Cough, cough.
Wicked Part 2 is coming in a few months. Yay. So, now, episode 2. I didn't care about episode 2 at all. It was
It's
boring.
got Giancarlo Esposito in it, man. Like he's so great. This is basically the guy from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, or Breaking Bad and all that, right?
I'm not really
Oh
familiar
no,
with
he's in
them,
both. Yeah.
so taking your word for
No,
it.
no, no. It's fair. He's a great actor. He's been in other stuff. I think he's in The Boys as well. I believe the Amazon show, the Amazon superhero show. But like
Yeah.
he's a great actor. Love hearing him. He's got a great voice. It, it's kind of it just didn't feel great here. It kind of felt like he was just meh, and this episode kind of feels meh, to be honest.
Mhm. Yeah, it's one of those episodes where it just I didn't really feel connected to anything. It was just to be honest, I was kind of like with the girl that's being murdered. Everything everything just bored me about this one. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get out.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Hmm. And yeah, that's I think that's kind of the saddest thing that I don't really have anything to say because for the most part it was just an episode.
I was watching this right, and one of the things that stuck out to me, I was like, man, I know for a fact. Like, I started watching. It's like, well, you're gonna make Giancarlo the murderer, obviously, because he's played a villain in everything he's done. So you're gonna make him the murderer. And I was like, it'd be really interesting if you didn't do that though, and you did something else with him, and then they made him the murderer. And I was like, well, there goes the interesting that could have been in the show, and then they killed him in a fire, which not
To
all
be
that
fair,
different from how he dies in Breaking Bad.
maybe it was the reference. You may never know.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the show does a lot of references. I mean, like the whole hitman angle felt very. I don't know about you, but to me, like the second we see like not the girl who's playing like the big villain at the big twist villain at the end, but like the guy, right? I think
Hmm.
it's Justin Thoreau. The he's playing the second assassin.
Okay.
I think like to me that felt very hitman-ish.
Hmm.
Like I got Agent
Well,
47 vibes from that, you know?
oh yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I thought about this. I thought about it too. Yeah, it's
And I
yeah,
wonder if that
agreed.
was like what they were trying to go for, because that's what it
All
gave
right.
me.
I'm. I mean, they only tried to adapt this game into film twice, and both failed, from what I know. So, probably.
Maybe.
So, episode 3.
Episode 3 was enjoyable. Like it was fun because again, we're getting the story again. We're getting back to that. And John Mulaney, like I feel like he's a lot funnier than what he was in this, but he still had his moments. It wasn't bad.
Then
And you also
again,
had
though,
Richard Kind as well, which is also fun. He didn't
here's
do
the thing.
much, but
I would argue that John Mulaney wasn't directed to be funny in this because this is not a funny role. He's essentially the bad guy.
yeah, but this show's kind of camp. Very camp, really, in my opinion. And it's like you bring John Mulaney on and you don't let him be camp a little bit more. I don't know, I think that's
I
kind of
guess
it's not great. It's not a good decision in my opinion, but that's just me.
I didn't really mind. I didn't really mind myself, but I get what you mean though. That you expect him to do something funnier than this, and in here he's more of a big bad. But it's still interesting, Just because I'm used to seeing him as that doesn't mean I'm not. I'm against seeing him doing something a bit more with a bit more range.
That's fair.
But I get what you mean though. Then again, I enjoyed as well in this, and again, I pointed this out earlier that I really enjoy what they're trying to do this thing where someone is not necessarily lying to Charlie, so she's not going to say bullshit on that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still not true. Like because when Richard Kind says that he's going to do anything to protect Hasp, yeah, that's all well and good. He's not lying there, But it doesn't mean he won't betray her if he sees betraying her as doing something to keep her safe.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting.
It's fine. Nothing wrong with it.
But then the end of an episode is just kind of like, okay, everything is wrapped up somehow. Okay, good to go. Let's go. Okay. Um.
Yeah, then we move on. Now we're episode of the week and no through lines whatsoever.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that so that's the thing that kind of sucks about episode 3 for me, because I like the episode itself. It's intense, it's entertaining. I want to see where it goes, especially like the entire climax on the plane. That was all really good.
mhm,
But then it just kind of ends with, okay, everything is resolved and Husp is now turning a new leaf, and her mafia is shut down now and she's a good person now.
mhm.
Okay. Okay, if you say so, whatever. I'll roll with it, I suppose. Except I don't.
Fair.
Do you got anything else to say? Because I think I
No,
said my piece.
it's again, it's a fine ending for season 1. I don't know why you did it here, and I don't know why like you did it so soon. It just feels like again, like why am I watching episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Like why am I watching the next 9 episodes basically? Because they don't matter anymore and you don't know anything. And again, I liked 9 through 12, but I still had to sit through 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to get to 9 and start seeing like, okay, you're doing something different finally. That's great. I love that. Why was all the rest of it all the same though? Why did
So,
none of it matter? Because again, you can say, "Oh, well, you're here for Charlie." Personally, I'm not connected to Charlie all that much. It just
mhm.
personally.
And that's fair. That's fair. She's just the type of character that I personally like. But
I mean, and that's
yeah,
fair.
I get you.
Nothing wrong with that. Like you said, it's fair. But it's one of those things, right, where you're just kind. Again, this is the issue with episodic shows. Like you've finished your through line story now, and we're just waffling about now. It just feels like you're wasting your time. It feels like nothing's going on because again, my other biggest issue with the show, you always know the answer to who did it and how they did it in the first 10 to 20 minutes. I don't want to sit here watching Charlie figure it out. I want to also be involved in the figuring it out process. If I can't do that, why am I watching you? Right? Again, I'm here for the mystery. Your mysteries are always solved in the first 10 to 20 minutes. I already know the answer. And I'm not as connected enough to Charlie to watch her figure out the answer. So why am I here now? Because the only other reason I was here was the through line story you had going on, Charlie being chased by the mafia. How is she going to figure that out? How is she going to solve that? That was the through line. That was the investment. And then you solved that in episode 3. So why am I here now? Why does the season need
Yeah,
to be longer?
that's the thing I had with that. It's like, okay, what am I watching the show for? I get it that Charlie's still a good. To me, she's a fun
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
protagonist. That's all well and good. But what is the troll line? What is the end game? There's nothing.
Yeah.
That being said, episode 4. What what the fuck? Like, forget the fact that now we're just gonna doing random shit. This is literally doing random shit. What was the point? What in the hell was this?
This was wild, is what this.
How do I even describe this?
It, it was basically the Florida Man episode, is what this was. It was the Florida Man episode, and we're also making references to fucking man, what was his name? It got popular there for a little while.
Still Beast?
No, yeah,
uh,
this is basically a big reference to Joe Exotic, if you remember who that is, and you remember like the big
I
Netflix show he
I
got a while ago.
I don't think I've ever heard that name, if I'm honest with you,
You're
but
in for a
if
treat
you
if you go look up Joe Exotic show. Have fun, HC. That's all I'll tell you. Or just go look up Joe
interesting.
Exotic. Have fun googling that.
Oh boy. I'll keep you posted. Never, maybe.
That
But so
man is
basically, so
something.
basically, there's so basically there's this annual competition for who's the best cop in Florida, as you oftentimes have. I don't know, friend in Florida. I need to ask her if it's a thing. But
Probably.
but anyway, on the seventh year in the row where he's about to win, Gator Joe is about to win because he's the he's the
He's
he
popular.
can he's popular because he's an officer that has a gator with him. He has a pet alligator that helps him out. And now there is this other officer who is like a very hardworking officer, and she decides that, you know what, she's tired of this shit. So she tries to embarrass him, but oopsie doodle, she gets him killed by the gator, as you do.
Hmm.
So now because
Well,
Charlie
she
is
didn't even get him
obviously.
killed by the gator. She makes him basically. She kills him by like making him like poop himself to death. It's basically
Yeah,
the whole
yeah, right,
joke.
right, right,
And then
right, right,
it's like,
right. My
oh
bad,
fuck,
my
makes the
bad.
gator eat him basically. So it's the gator's fault, quote unquote.
Yeah. But either way, one, insane plan. Two, you're a fucking cop. Get over it. Like, really. And two, Charlie comes across this group of people who are like into gators, and they convince her to get the gator out of there. But then she's also like becomes entranced with the gator, because apparently when you look into a gator's eyes,
Well,
you're
specifically this
feeling like.
gator's eyes. She has a religious experience, as does the cop as well,
Yeah.
by the way.
I remember this is like the one episode that I'm like, okay, this is beyond ridiculous. What am I seeing here? I'm
I
not bored.
the this
I'm not
season,
bored.
yeah, I guess. This season, I think they jumped the shark quite a few times. Like they
Hmm.
went from campy to like dumb kind of campy. I don't know
Oh,
if
I
that was a
think the
good
next
thing or a
one.
bad thing, but
I think the next one is where is the
mm,
most ridiculous one.
I wouldn't disagree.
But yeah, anything else to say about episode 4 besides the fact that it's batshit insane? And I did laugh, but I'm not necessarily sure if it was for the right reasons.
The ending to episode 4 is a wild one, considering like the cop woman who kills Gator Joe fully admits, like, yeah, I got him killed. It was my fault. And they like, we're just gonna report that he died to the got blah, blah, blah. We're gonna report that he was eaten by the gator, and that's it. Moving on. Like she doesn't get in trouble for nothing. Nothing happens. That is a
Yeah,
wild
that's
choice to
another
make
thing.
right now. By the way,
Cops,
wild
yeah, like
choice.
like I tell you, considering Simon Helberg from The Big Bang Theory, he's an FBI agent that rose through the ranks because Charlie essentially did the job for him. And now this show is making the law look stupid.
I mean, it's also just a choice to, in considering current climate, eh, show like the cop getting away with it. Basically, I mean, I guess that's
I
a
guess
choice
it's
in a few different
commentary.
things. I guess it's
I,
commentary. Yeah, I could see it being commentary, and nothing wrong with that.
But
So
also
fair
you had
enough.
the but you had the woman feed him a drunk that made him shit himself to that, only to and then framed the gator for eating him. Hello.
This is just a wild
I don't.
episode.
I don't think, if it happened at some point, let me know. But I doubt it.
You should Google
I
Florida
doubt.
Man and have fun with all of those headlines.
Oh boy. I'm afraid now. I'm afraid. But speaking of hometown hero, again, talk about an episode that's nothing. And honestly, is this a thing? Was this ever a thing in baseball that
Don't
somebody
ask
can
me.
just
I don't know.
commenters, if you're listening to that, let me know. Is this a thing that a person can throw a ball as quickly as a car driving by?
Well,
Is
yeah, I
this a
mean,
thing?
no, they can throw like the how hard they throw is quite fast. I think like 100 miles per hour is maybe like rare, but I think there were people that could throw that fast and hard. Don't quote me
So
though.
again, this is something that I have no knowledge on this, but also I did kind of dig the idea of, hey, you know what? People say that we suck, so let's suck on purpose, bet on us to lose, and that's how we're going to make it big. It's so stupid that I kind of liked it. I thought that was a bit funny. And ironically enough, I think this episode actually got a bit slower and a bit more boring once Charlie came in. I would have seen an
Yeah,
entire I would
yeah.
have seen an entire movie just about a big about any sports thing that just say, you know what? People say we lost our touch. Let's intentionally be bad and make money out of it, you know? Let's actually do that. I thought it was an actually a very interesting premise. Just not for this show in particular.
Eh, I don't know about you. You probably don't have it. That's another issue I kind of have with this show. Sometimes Charlie comes in and the show slows down so much that it just doesn't feel as enjoyable. 'Cause I don't know why, but she's like such a slow character. And I swear sometimes the show, like, I feel like some episodes don't need, most of these episodes are 40 to 50 minutes long. So you're basically watching these for more or less an hour almost. And it's like some of these don't need to be as long as they are, I feel. Some of them are too long. And it's like, why did we waste 5 minutes on a drug trip that I don't give a shit about?
I will say,
Literal
this
five
is the only
minutes of
one though.
watching Charlie trip the fuck out. And it's like, I don't care at all. I just don't.
I will say this is the Hometown Hero episode 5 is the only one where I felt she was a bit out of place. Everything else I didn't mind, but this is the only one where I really thought, you know what? I actually found the plot the plot to be more interesting when she wasn't a part of it.
Mm,
Personally.
that's fair. That's completely fair. I wouldn't disagree with that one for this episode.
So anyway, episode 6, Sloppy Joseph. Do you want to take this one?
I I kind of liked this one because it was
Same.
different because it focused on the children, right? And like this little girl is fucking wild.
Yeah, this was one of those things where you have a kid that's just pure evil, and it's so hilarious. And the show is again self-aware to the fact it's hilarious, but
Mhm.
and to some degree because Charlie, in a sense, is such a childlike character,
Mhm.
like in the way she acts and everything. It's interesting when you have to put her up against a child that essentially gets everything her way, right?
Mhm.
I
Agreed.
I enjoy that though. To be honest, I feel so bad for the boy. The boy, I felt so bad for him.
At the very least, he again, Charlie was there to help him, right? So it's like, he got better and everything. But yeah, that poor kid, like, he got lucky. He like basically the teacher's like, "Oh, let me help you out a little bit," and then just it just went to shit for him, killing the poor gerbil and everything. That
Yeah,
poor kid, he was traumatized.
and then also, you know, when they have to do this thing where like make a memorial for the hamster, for like the class hamster and everything, and she just goes, "Oh, it's too bad that this boy killed you. You would have still been here if not for him." It's like, fuck you, bitch. I know that you're in like elementary school, but fuck you.
No,
What the?
the kid who played this little girl did great. I will say, like, she
Yeah,
she
I
it,
I
it's
hope she has a career after this
no fair.
because
It's the same thing for like the kid who played Joffrey from Game of Thrones, right? Very well done at making you hate their character, right? It's a
Yeah.
shame the kid from Joffrey got a whole bunch of shit thrown at him for playing an awful person, basically, but he did great at
Yeah,
it. He deserves
but
all the credit for making you hate that character. Like, good on him. He did great with that. But, and so she did here, the same here. She did great at making you hate her. Wonderful actor, wonderful child actor, basically. Hopefully,
yeah,
she doesn't get a
so
bunch of shit thrown at her because she doesn't deserve it.
hmm well, this role isn't as permanent as Jeffrey
No,
in Game of
no,
Thrones,
no.
so
So I think she'll be fine.
so
But still, it's worth saying.
she'll
Like,
be
she
fine.
did great at playing a villain, and we need more people like that, right? Who are great at making you hate them, you know?
But then again comes the ending where she leaves this note to Charlie and threatening her, and I'm like, wait, are they implying something? Are they implying that
I
she's
would
going
love it if
that
that
she's
was the
gonna?
case, but no.
And no, no, it's just there for the sake of it. It's like you had something. Give
I,
us more of
I
that.
would
Why
love it
are
if
you
we got
upset?
like evil little girl as Charlie's new nemesis now. That would have been fucking great.
I tell you what, if this girl was the iguana, I would have loved it a lot more. That
That
would
would
have been
have
amazing.
I feel like that's jumping the shark a bit too much, but I would have
No,
loved that.
because what they have now is not dropping the shark.
No, they've jumped the shark horribly quite a few times in this season, right? This was one of them, but if they would have kept going with that, I would have been here for that. If that little kid becomes Charlie's new nemesis now and was actually the iguana the whole time, that would have been beautifully. It would have been stupid, but it would have been beautifully done.
Mhm. Well, so at least we have one episode that we at least enjoy, like legitimately. And I would say the same for the next episode, One Last Job. Despite feeling horribly attacked by this episode, because the guy who did it is essentially a failed screenwriter, it's like, yeah, salt on the wound there, show. I like this one. I like this one. It's a lot.
That's fair. I didn't think it was bad. I wasn't like I kind of kind of like what's the word I'm thinking of? I kind of just went through this one, like just went with the motions, but I didn't. It didn't really. Nothing about this episode really caught me or stood out to me, especially coming off episode 6. Like it just to me, it was kind of this was fine, nothing bad, nothing good, just fine.
Yeah, but I think what really sold for me is that this one actually felt really personal to Charlie because she was actually getting to like the guy who was murdered,
That's
and he
fair.
really didn't
Which
deserve.
is again, which was a good change. I didn't. I actually will say I did enjoy that part. Like the connection that was being made there was more than what we've seen previously, which was nice.
Yeah. And besides that, I also really enjoyed the climax. There was like this kind of Die Hard feeling to it, because I know Die Hard is in, but it felt it gave me that vibe, and I enjoyed that. It was a really interesting climax, with all the lighting and the and the dark and everything.
Mhm.
It was well done in terms of cinematography.
I
I
mean,
enjoyed that a lot.
I will say it was fun watching a man just limp around with a katana stabbed straight through his heart, and he's not dead,
Definitely.
just with a machine gun, just firing at everything. Like this was another one of those moments. Like, okay, so we are fully jumping the shark now. I'm here for it, but like, I wish you would have done this sooner and more often. And I wish if we're jumping the shark, we would have done more with episode 6. But it was still
Right.
fun.
hmm Yeah, so I enjoy this one. Also, I kind of like how it's also ironic for a screenwriter to be suddenly involved that's writing a heist movie to be involved in a heist and essentially go into the same thing. Again, it's kind of stupid, but it's stupid in the sense that I feel like they are self-aware of it and they wanted to roll with it.
Mhm.
I can roll with that.
That's
I
fair.
think episodes are a fun time.
That's fair.
Now for the episode 8,
So
the sleazy Georgian.
I like this one a lot more personally.
Mhm. I think I also like this one. Like the woman she has this perfect face of like this woman who's like really wants to do good, really wants to do well, but you can tell that one thing, one wrong move, she's got you beat. Like there's something about the casting. This actress has this look that
Mhm.
really works.
You also get John Cho,
Mhm.
another like great
You,
actor. He's been in
yeah,
a lot of stuff.
I can't really tell you. I know I've seen him in stuff, but I can't really point the
Uh,
finger on.
he's been in like this new Star Trek stuff. Star Trek stuff. He was
Mhm.
in the Harold and Kumar films. If you have ever seen any of those,
Then I probably know him from the new Star Trek stuff because I've seen one of those. I know for a fact.
he also was
Wait. He was in the Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas? What?
Yep, I think it was like a minor role, I believe. But yeah,
I still here's something I know him from. you know, from years ago, childhood memories that I would like to disconnect from.
fair enough.
Yeah, but he has done stuff,
Yeah,
so
yeah, he's been around for a
so.
while.
Mhm. Well, either way, I'm trying to see if this is one of the. No, it's not who I think it is. Anyway, moving on. So this one I liked, and especially because I think the twist at the end was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
clever.
The twist at this one I thought was actually pretty clever and different, right? Again, like this is one of the things I liked. Like it was around at this part where we started getting where they started trying. They weren't playing with the formula too much, but they were changing up a little bit here or there. The ending was changing more often than not, and I really enjoyed that because again, you were getting different stuff going on, you know.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I liked about like these later episodes. I think they should have put a few more of these closer to the front because I think it would have made the overall season feel better. But still, yet, like this is a good episode, right? The way it ends, the way like you actually had the woman who fell for the con in the first place and stole what she thought was
Yeah.
$400,000, found out oh it was all fake and committed
Hmm.
suicide, right? Like you find out, Charlie's here helping her, and apparently Charlie got to know like one of the other con men, and basically him and Robin, his significant other, his partner,
Yeah.
those two guys helped her take down the main con man, which was John Cho's character, which is great.
Hmm. Yeah. Again, everything about this was just really well done in terms of like the writing and everything. It's like it was a very clever episode.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed
Yeah,
this.
no, I'll fully say like them saying like the two guys at the end, like once they reveal like again like they're trying to con this guy who's basically a gambling addict, who they think is a gambling addict and works for the mob, and it's like oh he has a gun, he kills like the other guy, but no, it was all faked, right? It's like oh shit, Robin, I see what you did there. That's clever. I like that, right? Again, episode 8 I actually quite enjoyed quite a bit.
So moving on to episode 9, and you Lisa on that. So like I said, this is the episode where the character is murdered. So automatically best episode 10 out of 10.
I saw her. I was like, she sounds and looks familiar. Who is that? And I was like, I'm gonna look this up real quick. Oh, that's Aquafina. Oh, she's dead. Okay, fair enough.
And again, I should state, I'm sure that in real life she's the sweetest person. I just can't stand her in most stuff she's in.
I'll say
I
in this, she
can't.
was fine. Like she didn't
She was
feel.
fine, and she was fine, and also in Shang-Chi she was okay. But like honestly, I find it that she's okay when she's on camera. I can't stand her when she's doing voice acting.
Fair enough.
Hmm. So anyway, so we have this one interesting premise to say the least. I I actually kind of find it. I found it really interesting that Because I was sure they start you off with the grandmother adopting her own granddaughter to make it so that the granddaughter is now her daughter. Ergo, she's gonna get the apartment after the grandmother passes away, which is like, wouldn't she get it anyway, technically?
No,
So
considering how stuff in the US works. No, but what they're mostly trying to do is just keep the rent low, and that's one of the ways they can do it, right?
yeah,
And
okay.
that's like the whole story there.
Mhm. I should stress it's been a while since I've seen everything, so if I don't remember all the details directly, then
That's fair.
apologies. But
But then we get another woman that comes in and basically gets with her grandmother, and we find out, or Aquafina finds out, she's a criminal and she's actually wanted for crimes, who knows what, and says, "Hey, either leave or I'm turning you into the police." And so she kills her.
and meanwhile, this
Which,
is
according to
another
AC,
thing that
not that much of a crime. It's fine.
now this is the point where actually Steve Buscemi tells Charlie, "Hey, so I have this apartment. If you want to just stay there, go for it." And I think this is one point where it starts establishing this kind of familiarity with everything that like Charlie now has a base she can return to besides the car, and this is nice. But of course, as soon as she get there, shit is afoot, and she needs to help solve it because something is not clicking well. But then I do think I do find the villain interesting in the sense that it's an apartment, W- really, and but I also find it interesting that she doesn't necessarily want to kill the grandmother. She actually does somewhat legitimately wants to be with the grandmother. She wants to make this relationship work. It's just that she's an evil psychopath.
She doesn't want to kill the grandmother until the grandmother's like, "Yeah, I think I want to just leave." And when she actually starts trying to leave, then she's like, "Well, you got to die. Let's get married so I can still keep the apartment, and then you can die."
Yeah, but before the grandmother suggests that, though,
Yeah, no, you're right.
this was
She
never the
does
plan.
seems to
You
genuinely want
can,
to be with her.
yeah, which is again horrifying considering she killed her granddaughter. But yeah, it's the stuff you do for love. Though,
Mm.
don't ever do this for love or
Listen,
ever,
old people take a lot of
never.
secrets to their grave. They have some deep dark shit that they've done back in the day. Who knows?
Again, I also did enjoy that there's a nice Chekhov's gun with the firefighters thing. When when Charlie convinces this one firefighter to maybe take dancing or something, and then he actually helps her out by setting up the landing pad right beneath the balcony so that she could make the jump. I thought that was clever. That was nice.
Fair.
Anything else to say on
No,
this?
I mean, it was a fine episode. I don't think it was as good as the like last episode, and then not episode 7, episode. I think what I thought we had better episodes than this one, but this was fine, right? I understand you like this one better, but I'm not as familiar with Aquafina as you are, so she doesn't bother me as much.
Well, again, keep in mind, I'm saying it's the best episode because this is the one where she.
I know,
I'm saying this
I know, I
sarcastically,
know,
but
but
um, but
I'm
either way, I enjoy this one plenty.
mm,
Now, episode 10. A gym. This is definitely a scenario that's interesting and a lot of people have been in. Then again, I'm not entirely. I don't get this one. What did you think?
this
Let's start
one's
with you.
dumb. This one's just stupid. It's so fucking stupid, but I kind of love that it's stupid. One, this is when we start to see, oh, we're staying in the same area. Okay, I'm interested, and this is also, I believe,
This is
it,
the other episode where we meet her previously, but essentially the iguana. This is the second time where she's starting to become established as a reoccurring character.
yeah, I think who plays her? Yeah, Patty Harrison plays her. plays this
Patty
character.
Harrison is the name of the actress. I'm not sure what the character's name is, like as in terms of the
Alex. Alex is the character's name.
Alex. Yes.
Yeah, we meet Alex like in a brief thing in episode 9, and then episode 10 we have a full episode with her basically. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is interesting. I like it. We see another character or two come up from episode 9 and episode 10 as well, which is like, okay, I like this. We're doing something different. This is cool. Still the same formula of you know exactly what happened and who did it in the first 10 to 20 minutes, but it's still fun. It's still
But it's
enjoyable.
also, but then again, now I know this when I look at the entire season together. But it does feel like too little, too late to suddenly have this quote unquote status quo, like with Alex showing up a bit more and Charlie having an actual place to live at. It's like, why didn't we get a bit more of this?
I'll tell you what I
They,
think your issue might be with it. It's a change up at the end of the season. If you're going to change up the formula, one, you should be changing up the formula more often than just doing it right here.
It's not
Because
just that. It's not just that, but also because if you wanted to the Alex twist to work, then I needed to be more familiar with her because right now,
but it's an
like
episodic
because
show,
in
you
episode
can't do
nine,
that.
because in episode nine, she's basically a non-entity. Episode 10,
Mm.
okay, she's somewhat more involved. She has a bit more of a connection to Charlie. Then episode 11 and 12 are a whole different story. So
Episode 11, she's accused of murder, we're running away, and then episode 12 you find out, oh, she's the murderer basically. Okay.
yeah, so it's like if she were around for longer, then it would probably be better because I have less reason to suspect her.
And we're basically
But
setting up the
she,
Moriarty to Charlie's Holmes. So,
essentially, yeah.
I mean, they even make that reference in the show themselves, which
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I do agree with you. I think we should have seen more of her, but hey, that's the nature of episodic shows. You can't technically do something like that, or you could.
But that's the thing they kind of do. It's just that they do it later than I would have liked if to actually buy the thing.
Cough, cough. That's why this show's bad. Cough, cough.
Uh,
Eh,
you are a lost cause, my friend.
I am. I am. I I do
But
get you though. I get where you're coming from, and like ignoring all of that, I do agree with you. I think they should have done something with her sooner, so we could have seen her sooner and gotten more of her than just this episode, basically. And then a little bit in 9 and a little bit, and then 11 and 12 change up. Do
now,
your thing, right?
mhm. Now here's the other thing. Here's the other thing about this episode that kind of drives me mad. After basically 19 episodes of Charlie just randomly walking into other people's shit and just trying to solve their problems because she feels somebody's lying to her. Suddenly she's like, "Nah, this is not my thing. I want to stay away from this. Nah, this is not it. Nah,
Again, I also get what they're
done."
going for here, right? They're trying to be like, oh, Charlie's trying to like not get involved where she shouldn't be, right? So she doesn't get involved, so she doesn't basically get her life threatened or in some other kind of bullshit, basically, right? The issue is
Which
is
she
again,
does anyway.
she does
She does it
anyway.
anyway.
That and also, right, you have this whole thing of I don't necessarily think that works for her character because we've not seen anything from her about we've not seen anything from her about being like not wanting to have that happen to her anymore, basically, right?
Hmm. Because her resolution after the whole hasps thing is that she just goes to random places and see where life takes her because she seemed to enjoy the thrill of it to just see
Well,
where the wind takes her.
I
Now suddenly it's just like I don't know.
to me it seemed like she wants to like find herself, right? Find out where she belongs or what or like who she is or what she should be doing. Like that's what it seems to me. But the issue is that doesn't connect well with yeah, I'm not going to get involved anymore. I just want to do my thing, be by myself and like just kind of blend into the crowd and not stand out anymore like I have been. Those two things don't really work together in my opinion. Not for this character. not for Charlie. Maybe a different character,
Uh,
but not for Charlie. I think.
again, and again, I think this is something. If you played with it a bit more, if this was a reoccurring theme,
Yep.
that she wants to stay away from all this shit, but this shit keeps finding her, right? Like
Yeah. No,
just
agreed.
she thinks she's out, it pulls her back in.
Yep.
If you did something like that, maybe I could have first episode they even acknowledge that she doesn't want anything to do with this thing. Or and again, she's solving the mystery anyway, and then we forget about it. So I don't know.
Agreed. Fully agreed. I fully get where you're coming from, and I do agree. I think we should have done more with it. I think you should have had this be a bit more of a recurring theme and a bit more with um
Then
Alex as a character
again,
as well.
mhm,
And I think it would have made this even better. Or you should have just went with the little evil girl as the iguana and been like fucking beautiful.
mhm. Now for the episode itself, I will say, and I'm just trying to look into this to make sure that I remember this right.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I the what is the good stuff? Do you remember? I'm trying to
It was
look at.
breast milk.
Yeah.
It was breast milk.
Mhm. I was about to say I tried to make sure because believe it or not, just a day before we recorded this, I found out that the people are made that there's an ice cream flavor breast milk.
Yeah,
I shit you not.
yeah. That's the thing, yeah.
What did you say? You
I
believe
said
me?
no, I said no, I understand. I already knew that was a thing. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, apparently that's the thing, and I can send you the picture if you want to put this on screen in case the audience doesn't believe us.
The audience can Google it. It's what it's there
Mhm.
for. Have fun.
But
Or
trust
just take our
us,
word for it.
a day before we recorded this is a real thing apparently.
Yep.
Something that people are going to consume as ice cream now. I am not sure how to feel about that, if I'm honest with you.
You know? More power to
Also,
you.
why the fuck, why breast milk? Is this supposed to be funny or is this like a scientific thing?
More power to you. Have fun.
No, give me answers. Is this? I'm wondering, is this like a thing that breast milk actually makes you better at sports or some shit? What?
It just helps with those gains, man. I don't fucking know. Don't ask me. I don't know. It might
Okay.
there might be something for this. I don't know. I'm not like science person. I don't know I don't know how breast milk would attribute to better gains with the muscles and the gym stuff. Don't ask me.
Mhm.
Gym bros, speak up.
Well, so this was an odd one.
Yeah, this was a weird
Besides
one.
everything,
I don't know if it was good, but it was definitely weird.
and to be honest, I think this was weirder than the alligator one, just because what the fuck?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, I don't really have anything to say besides that. I guess so. We're moving on to
I will say I
where.
thought I will say one last thing. I thought it was fucking hilarious that our villain, which I believe is played by Method Man, won, which he did fine. Wild, but fair enough. But I loved like, all right, I'm gonna trap Charlie in the sauna and just leave her there and let her basically die of heat exhaustion. Man just walks away and puts headphones in and starts just like, all right, I'm gonna pump some iron while I let this person die. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, in his mind, he won, so I guess this is his way of maybe.
Just such a wild. Also, his wife just being like, "Yo, call the police. This man's crazy." I'm surprised she was like, "Yo, call the police."
To be honest, sadly, some people have to call the police on their
This is
spouses
true.
when
This
they
is true.
found out that they're insane.
This is true.
So I
Fair enough.
sadly know of real life cases. So yeah.
I mean, it's just they played that to me. They played that scene for so long that I was like, oh, she's gonna turn on them too, but she didn't, and it's like, okay, why was that scene so long? Again, coming back to like we stay on certain scenes for like longer than it feels like we need to sometimes, which I think is an issue with this show, but maybe that's just me.
I don't remember specifically the events. Maybe if I'll give it a tell you. But
Fair enough.
that
But moving
said,
on to better episodes.
moving on to episode 11, the day of the iguana. So now we're starting to set up for the finale. Makes sense because we're an episode before, and this one again interesting, but it's also I think episodes 11 and 12 are kind of living as not necessarily as a double episode, but they feel way too connected, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Which is kind of a problem because I can barely tell you anything about episode 11 besides the fact that Haley Joel Osment is getting married and that he's the one that's dying. That's the only thing I really remember about this particular portion because everything else is episode 12.
Um, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything that stood out to me other than like what I said before, right? The Justin Thoreau, the guy who plays the first hitman we see, not the iguana, not Alex's character, but Justin Thoreau, his character. It felt very hitman, like Agent 47 to me, like it gave that vibes to me. Other than that, yeah, I would say like not too much about this episode stood out personally.
And then we have episode 12, which is basically our finale. And it starts interesting throughout the entire thing. You're trying to figure out who the iguana is. Headman says, but I never figured it would be Alex because, again, I don't think it was properly set up.
I didn't think it was
Which, again,
Alex. Like I said, I accidentally caught it. I was like, I wonder if she's evil because they're doing something different here for 9, 10, 11, right? Because she's been in so many episodes. So like, so I was just like around episode 11, I was like, is she evil? And then we get to episode 12 and I'm like, holy shit, she is. I will admit, I accidentally called it.
which again is kind of this thing where if I could have, I could have got it a lot more if they had Alex there for a longer time,
Mhm.
if it give me because that way when she's just there for a few episodes, it's like so she's not really different than, the agent, the FBI agent, right?
Yeah,
Or Steve Buscemi, like
yeah.
I said.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, again, I know this isn't necessarily a mystery show, but it does have some of those same vibes. And especially if you're doing something like this feels much more mystery themed, right? Who the iguana is, who is that person? That needs to be something that you're setting up much further along. Like, you have to have more setup than just basically 2 episodes. And the reason I say that is because a mystery should always, in my opinion, should always make you feel like, even if you couldn't figure it out yourself, it should always make you feel like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
If the mystery makes you go, huh, or anything other than, oh shit, or I called it, if the mystery makes you do anything other than those two,
Hmm.
generally speaking, it never feels like a good mystery.
And this is the problem that, like I said, when Alex's backstory is explained, my thought wasn't, "Oh shit," or "called it." My thought was, "Are we in the same show?
That's fair.
What is this super villain from an MCU movie doing
Yeah,
here?"
yeah,
Right?
it
It's
very much feels like, again, and the show makes this joke itself, right? It's like, I'm the Moriarty to your Sherlock, but it's like you've not really set up that kind of show, so it just feels like a very
no.
hard left turn, which again, I was all for because I wasn't very into the show beforehand. Now I'm a little bit more into the show, but
The
I
thing
get where
is, though, that
you're coming
again,
from when you say it isn't good, and I agree. Like it's not the greatest. Like again, I've seen other shows do hard left turns and do them far better, right?
Mhm. Because okay, let's take your angle here that you enjoy this because this is such a moment of shark jumping in a show that you're not necessarily into as is. So
Mm,
you're enjoying this a lot more in terms of this is so batshit insane that I'm kind of laughing at.
yeah.
But in terms of an actual plot twist, because if I were in the same boat as you, maybe I would have sang a different tune here.
That's fair.
But I actually enjoyed the show.
No, that's fair.
I thought the show was really good, and then this it kind of killed it for me. It kind of stopped it for me, and especially and this is also like the point where the finale kind of dies because everything afterward is still kind of shit.
Can we say I I fucking I was about like there was a moment in episode 12 you're like, right, where the car is hovering over the canyon and you don't know what's going to happen. It says to be continued. And
By the
for
by,
a
before
moment.
this,
Oh, go ahead.
before this,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
before
Go
this,
ahead. Go
before
ahead.
this, before
Go ahead.
this.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Mhm. Before this, can we talk about the why in the fuck does this show end with a Thelma and Louise?
Selma and Louise.
It's a classic movie by Ridley Scott from
Yeah,
like I
I know
think
the
the 80s.
movie. Yeah. Well, what's the
So
reference?
the very ending where they are in the car in the desert and they drive off the cliff and they die at the end.
Yeah.
Like I get it. It's a very classic movie and everything, and it's a great movie, right? It's movies that I had to watch in film school, and I actually enjoyed by figure that. But like this is such a random reference because again, I kind of get it in the meta sense that Thelma and Louise are those besties, and they are together with each other until the end. I get the irony, but Alex and Charlie don't have that, and that's another thing that I think they should have established Alex a lot earlier.
Mhm.
It doesn't. It just feels like the most random ass reference for no goddamn reason.
Fair.
So yeah, now the talk about it to be continued. Let's see. Let's hear it
I
because
I was sitting there and for a moment, right? Like I didn't realize like is that it? Are you ending it on that kind of shit? Like, you do not deserve a season 3. Don't even try this bullshit. Like, for a minute, I was gonna come in here and be very upset, and then they're like, "Oh no, we're finishing it out," because I hovered over. It's like, all right, we still have a lot of time left. All right, fair enough. But I thought,
and
don't try to
that's the
pull
other
this
thing.
shit. You've not earned this. You haven't earned this to try and pull this kind of shit.
Because that's the other thing. My mom and I are watching this on the TV, and we're like, "What the fuck? What?" And then it just kind of keeps going. It's like, what was even the
Yeah,
point of
why
having
did
it
we
to be
do that?
continued there?
Why did we do
A-
that?
And
It's
apparently,
just so.
I read that Ryan Johnson actually laughed that like the producers watching this episode were terrified of the continue that just suddenly showed up, and I'm like, yeah, you know why? Because it's fucking stupid. It's so dumb. But then again, it's not like that. The note the season ends on, anyways. It might as well have ended there.
Mm,
Okay, so there's no to be continued with the car just flying into the canyon. The Charlie manages to escape. It's implied that Alex did too, but
yeah,
then
implied that
the
because we gotta
fuck.
have our season 3 bait. We gotta get you for season
Which,
3.
by the way, I check every so often. I checked before we started. At this moment, season 3 has not yet been confirmed. Season 3 is a mystery at the time of this recording.
I I I don't want a season 3. I,
Well, jumping the gun.
I'm doing what this show does. I'm saying, hey, do you want to know the answer to that question? Let me tell you it right now. I'm not going to jerk you
Mhm.
along. I'm going to give you the answer right now. I personally am not that interested in a season 3. This show, unless they're going to continue on and change up the formula massively and start changing up the formula more often and doing stuff differently, I personally am not that interested in a season 3.
To be honest, not entirely sure I want it myself, if I'm honest with
The I would say this, right? I would have to watch the first episode of season 3, but that better be the best damn episode I have ever seen in my fucking life to make me want to watch more of this show.
you.
That first episode better be fucking golden because I'm no longer invested in this show. Like the good things again, it's done some good stuff here or there that I have liked, but the issue is it's it's all this other stuff that's packaged with it that I just cannot get into and have not enjoyed that just makes me go, if you don't get a season 3, I'm not going to be upset. I'm fine. This is a good enough ending. It works. I'll take it. Even if I don't think it's the
Tell
greatest ending, I'll take it.
tell you what, I'm not necessarily in any rush for to get a season 3, and especially they don't in any rush to announce the damn thing. So I at this and considering, yeah, there is kind of a I kind of want to know what happens to Charlie after this, but at the same time I'm also thinking I could just if they're not going to deliver it, I wouldn't mind if it's just a fan fiction somewhere, or like some sort of I would read what the creators wanted to do for 3, and that's it. I don't necessarily need season 3 to be
Mm.
made. I don't feel it
I,
after
I,
this,
I will
and
say it
it's kind of sad to
ends.
say.
We do end the show with Charlie being on the run again, except this time she's on the run from the FBI. And as you said, Alex's character may still be out there. So now we have basically what is the Moriarty to Charlie's Holmes. So my
Mhm.
hope would be that we're going to get a lot more of Alex and her interacting with Charlie every now and again, right?
Because now when we last see Charlie, like Luca, which is the FBI agent that she's in contact when he tells her, listen, I'm gonna give you a start, but realize that if we meet again, I'm coming after you because essentially because Charlie associated Alex without knowing that she's the iguana, and Alex murdered the Huss. Charlie's now an assistant to the crime, and
Mm.
that's why she's on the run. So then Charlie runs away. She comes across this tow truck driver who gives her a ride, and that's basically it. We this is where we leave her, and yeah, it's kind of like this bittersweet thing. I guess not even sweet. It's just a bitter ending. But I'm also saying what is there left to do? Even the name of the final episode is called "The End of the Road," and the car is destroyed. Like the car is essentially a character in itself in this show.
True.
We're done. Is there really anything else to tell?
Other than Charlie catching Alex and like putting her away, that'd be the only thing.
Yeah, that will be the
And
only thing. But
again,
again,
I'm
I'm
just
also
not that
kind
interested in that story personally.
of sadly same, if I'm honest with you. And I should stress again, I am the fan between the two of us. I really like the show in season one, and
That's fair.
I kind of want to. I would love to have a more proper conclusion. I just don't care, though.
That's fair.
So, anything else to add on the matter? Because I think you basically said everything you're my thoughts, I would say if it's announced, I'll watch it, but I'm not holding my.
Yeah, I would give it one episode, right? At the very least, if they announce a season 3, I would give it one episode to give it a shot. And like I said, that episode has to do something super interesting for me. Like it has to do something more than what the first 2 seasons have been doing thus far because it hasn't grabbed me yet. And if it can't grab me in at least one, maybe 2 episodes, then I'm out. I'm just not interested. But also, I'm not looking for a season 3. I'm not really super interested in the season 3.
So honestly, kind of sad to say that this show, as of now, went out with a whimper in my eyes.
Mm,
Kind of sad to say, but it happens sometimes.
unfortunately, it's definitely one of those things of while the end of the journey wasn't great, as long as you got some enjoyment out of the journey itself, then that's something, right?
Yeah, and I did get a lot of enjoyment out of the journey at the
So
first part of it, anyway.
that's good.
But you can't win it all, I
Gonna
suppose.
gonna say though, Peacock, you're 0 for 2 right now so far as a streaming service. Why do you exist? I was saying that before,
Well,
but now I'm really like, why do you exist? Do you have
I
any good
guess,
shows to offer?
I
MSNBC
mean,
streaming service?
I guess really,
Because it is a
dude.
good service.
I mean, they have Rescue Riders. You like that?
Yeah, that's I'll give them that. They had Rescue. I I would say that was more of a I liked that ironically.
I know. I'm just shitting with you here. But
No, it's NBC
point
Universal,
is,
not MSNBC. I apologize, MSNBC. I was trying to give you some
uh,
shit. You didn't
it,
deserve it. NBC, NBC Universal's who deserves the shit. Go fuck
I
yourself. You
mean,
suck.
here's the thing, though. I'm not. I think that's them, but that NBC has This Is Us, but that's not necessarily a streaming service show. It was on TV, so I don't know anymore. Regardless, this anything else to say on Poker Face, or did we wrap it up?
I'd say we're good. I
Hmm.
personally can't recommend you go watch it. That'd be a little
Well,
weird
even
of
if
me having disliked the show to say go watch it.
well, we also kind of said it out at the beginning. Obviously, if you're here, you had to watch it or you don't care. So, kind of a disappointment, but what can you do? Anyway, this is it for the Outcast. We hope you enjoyed it. What do you think about Poker Face Season 2? Do you want a Season 3? You can tell us all about it in the comment section below, on our Twitter, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C, and on our Tumblr, which is Berkcast Team. I can't remember. I remember this entire outro after weeks of not doing it. So until the next episode, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
And we will see you all next time. Take care.
Bye bye.